Welcome to the Financial Freedom Mastermind Group podcast. Here we're all about breaking free from the 40 to 50-year work grind and accelerating our journey towards financial freedom. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern as we explore different types of investments that can fast-track your path to financial independence. We serve as a hub for connecting with fellow members during our sessions so you can share successes, ask questions, and keep the momentum going.
Good evening, everyone. This is Niyi Adewole, host of the Ekabo Home Financial Freedom Mastermind Group, and I'm excited to be joined by no other than Anvesh Chakravarthula tonight, who is the founder and CEO of Realoq and Rexdat, platforms that are aimed at revolutionizing the real estate industry by enhancing transparency, data control, and collaboration among all the stakeholders. When it comes to realtors, brokers, buyers, sellers, and mortgage lenders, he's offering an alternative to the old MLSs and NARs of old and creating a new listing platform. And Anvesh, I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you, Niyi. Thank you for inviting me here.
Absolutely. And we were talking a little bit offline. And before we got started, I was learning about your background, and I want to jump into Realoq and Rexdat. But before we do you mind sharing where the inspiration came from and what you were doing before starting these companies?
Yeah, sure. Again, hi guys. This is Anvesh Chakravarthula, founder and CEO of Realoq and Rexdat. Inspiration. So I was a tech guy all my life until 2023 January. That's where I started Realoq. And I was working for Salesforce. Before that, I was working for a lot of other top tech companies in the tech industry. And I was also a real estate investor, a very big real estate investor, participating into buy side of the programs and buying, selling, sell side of the program. As I was going through that journey as an investor, I always encountered the fragmentation in the real estate industry, basically in conducting the transactions, in fulfilling the transactions and closing the transactions. So from step one to last step, there were and still there are a lot of broken pieces where it needs to be conjected together. So as part of my interest towards technology and also towards real estate, I was like, there's a lot to do in this space, and that's when Realoq came into the world. As a founder, started Realoq in February 2023. And the goal is very simple. We want to create a seamless and transparent end-to-end real estate journey, whether it's to consumers, buyers, sellers, or whether it's B2B customers, agents, brokers, MLS organizations, association of realtors. End of the day, our goal is very simple. Create the best transparent real estate platform on the planet.
I love it. And it couldn't have come at a better time, right? With all the eyes kind of turning to real estate over the last, year and a half with the NAR rulings and all the changes that have occurred this year. And so I know timing kind of matched up, but do you mind just circling back to when you were a buyer before you founded Realoq and Rexdat? Two questions. First off, just interesting for me personally, what kind of stuff were you buying? Like single family, multifamily? What were you investing in?
So I was mostly investing into single family homes and also apartments. And also, commercial lands and farmlands. Farmlands was one of my biggest portfolio. Different parts of the country, different states, and basically single-family homes for rental purpose. So I was into different property types, various property types into the investment side.
That's pretty cool. I've never invested in farmland per se. I've invested in agricultural land that we then converted to build like storage and townhomes, but that's interesting. You have something in common with Bill Gates. I know he's buying up farmland like crazy. I think I should probably look into it.
That's an interesting space, and I can keep on talking for hours and hours why buying farmland is one of the best bet into the real estate investment. But if time permits, but yeah, over to you, Niyi.
Absolutely. And we'll probably circle back at the end if we do have time because it's super interesting. But what were some of the frustrations that you personally had with the whole buying process that you sought to find a solution for and create that when you released Realoq and Rexdat?
So one of the biggest challenge at that time, and even till date, as Realoq is trying to solve most of the problems in conducting the real estate transactions from end to end, So I really wanted to see a transparent and end-to-end platform which doesn't exist till date. So let's take a step one. I want to purchase a property in San Mateo, California, or Dublin, California, and we do have a marketplace portals, Realoq, Zillow, XYZ. There are a lot of other platforms out there. So consumer have a good visibility, to look into the properties, which the problem was actually solved, kind of solved. But when a consumer wants to take a next step and get into transaction mode, like, hey, I like this property. Okay, now selecting an agent, XYZ. So finding a good agent is always a challenge. And it's not going to be a minute or an hour conversation that's going to happen between interested buyer and the agent. It is going to be a long term. When I say long term, at least 2 to 3 months of relation if everything goes smooth. So the communication and the relation between the buyer and the real estate agent is going to be very, very important. So for that, how can my first question in my mind was, how can we ensure we bring a quality agents, a good agents to the consumers, because consumers are always looking for that, right? And that's step one. And once we, once or after we have a good agent and going through the process, selecting a mortgage, shopping for the mortgage, jumping into different platforms, different portals, shopping around, talking to hundreds of folks out there, and from there, showing the homes, traveling to that destination to look into the homes. So it's a long process, and I know the process still exists. It has to have some of the steps to make sure, because real estate is a tangible asset, and you cannot just purchase like what you purchase in Amazon.com. You need to touch and feel, and you need to have that feel. So I do understand that there are a lot of steps involved, but one thing that really struck in my mind was like, okay, how about if I can automate mortgage process on the platform? How about I automate bringing quality agents on the platform and offering to the consumers in a way that, okay, hey, if I get into Realoq, I do have a quality agents, and that is a brand that we really want to create from day one and even till date and moving forward as well in the future. So we want to bring the quality product because customers always like quality product. So on top of that, as part of the transaction, we have a big plans which we are going to execute very, very soon in building end-to-end transactions. As of today, we have a mortgage pipeline. We have a real estate offering catering to buyers, sellers. So basically buy side of the real estate, sell side of the real estate mortgage, and moving to different parts of the transaction. We are in the plans of building that end-to-end spectrum very, very soon. And there is another product called Rexdat. So there are a lot of challenges in the industry right now, especially to, back to your question, timing is perfect with everything that's happening currently with, NAR lawsuit, NAR, ruling on the lawsuit, Clear Corporation lawsuit for NAR. So Rexdat being a B2B product, it's a complete B2B product for real estate agents, brokers, association of realtors, and MLS organization. Our goal is very simple. We really want to create a centralized data platform with Rexdat where we cut down a number of barriers. I can keep on going. What barriers do we have in the current real estate space? And you as a realtor, everything that I know. So we really want to cut down all those barriers moving forward with Rexdat platform and create a very transparent platform which could cater across the nation without having any fragmentation in the data syndication and data sharing.
Come on now. And it's incredible that you're taking on really a large challenge, right? Because real estate is something that's been around for, forever, right? At least a significant amount of the time that this country has been around. And not many changes have happened. Yes, the internet came along and the MLS system and things of that nature. But since it was established, there haven't been many groundbreaking changes to it. And so I got a couple questions for you, right? One, you mentioned making sure that you're getting quality agents multiple times. How are you vetting the agents? What's the process for agents getting onto the platform and finding clients?
So we vet the agents manually. So that's a beauty part of it. It's not something like hey, we have a platform, we have a web page for that, come and sign up directly. No, that's not how we do. So on realoq.com/agents, so there is a section called agents page. It asks for, hey, are you interested? So basically filling out an interest form. Agent can fill out the interest form. And as part of the vetting process in the backend, we do check everything, hey, what is the performance of this agent? If there are any consumer ratings of this agent, whether they're good or bad. And are there any legal issues with this agent? Did this agent went through any legal battle, screwing up consumers in the market? Because whether it's a Realoq platform or a Rexdat platform, our goal is very simple. We want to cater the best to the consumers of the platform. We check, we will make sure the DRE number is correct and DRE number is active, and the state brokerage, the state brokerage department, the state broker department of real estate, didn't put any hold or didn't put any penalty on this license number. So there are, there's a big checklist that we do follow to make sure that the agents are quality in nature, along with, consumer ratings and customer ratings. Yeah.
I love that. Because I'm not going to mention other platforms by name, but a lot of the other ones, it's really just pay to play, right? There's not really a true vetting process. It's just, hey, if you want to get, leads through this source, just, log on. But to be able to set yourself apart by saying, hey, we're actually going to vet the agents and make sure that these people are what they're portraying themselves to be and they're experts in the field. I think more and more, especially after the new NAR ruling, that's important. Back in the day, it used to be, hey, I'm going to go to my cousin or my nephew or whatever because they have a license that they got yesterday. Now, more and more people, if you're going to have to pay a buyer's agent, you want to make sure they're specialized as if you were going to go to a doctor, right?
Yep, exactly. The quality is important again, because as I said, it's going to be a quite bit long journey, especially when you get into the purchase of the property or selling of the property. So the relation has to be strong and mutually understandable between the consumer and all real estate agent.
Absolutely. And piggybacking off of that, one other question I had. So you started officially in February 2023. So we're heading close to year 2, and this is still a pretty new platform. How have you been doing transaction-wise? Like how many transactions, how many people are actively closing deals with realtors and things of that nature through the platform?
Yep. So just a little bit background on that. I quit my job and started Realoq in February 2023 just by myself. And fortunately, I have a co-founder of Realoq, where I met him at one of the conference, and I completely came out of my job. Okay, this is what I want to do in the future. And July 2023 was the time where we raised $3 million as an investment, seed level investment, and that actually gave us a lot of boost, crazy boost. We have a path forward to that. Since inception, the first funding inception, we have got more than 500 plus agents on the platform. That's a great achievement till date as a new startup on realoq.com. And we are performing multiple transactions per month, especially since last 2 to 3 months, because the first 15 months of our time, so July 2023 was the date, was the month that we raised the funding. And I had a clear goals. Okay, what we need to build and what is the direction that we are heading to, and what is the timeline that we need to allocate for this kind of a development, whether from product development, technology, business processes, business development, and everything. So we spent first 15 months in just building, build. Realoq, it's not just an app or product, it's a platform. And same with Rexdat, it's a whole different platform. So we build multiple platforms in the first 15 months of time, where we feel so proud and tap ourselves on the back. And at the same time, we scaled fast on the Realoq. We scaled to 8 states in the first year itself, with 500 plus agents on the platform till date and performing real estate transactions. And our lead traction is very good, and it's improving a lot day by day. Every agent, most of the agents do receive leads from the customers. And our customer traction is also pretty good, and it's dynamic, it's volatile, and it's improving on a daily basis, on a weekly basis.
That's incredible. And the fact that you left, right, a job that you've been at and built up tenure and high salary, things of that nature, to go full time into this is truly a vote of confidence into the business. And so when you look at the future, right, and say we fast forward 10 years down the road, where do you think that Realoq and Rexdat's going to be at? What are some of your goals for the future?
When it comes to the goal is very simple, and I can put it in one statement that Realoq plus Rexdat, we want to bring the best transparent platform into the real estate industry in this country. And that is something that we do not have when it comes to transparency. Again, it's going to be a long discussion. Transparency from every aspect. How transparent the consumer facing platforms are catering to customers, whether it's buyers or sellers. How transparent the platforms are catering to agents and brokers. And similarly, when we talk about Rexdat, there are million issues that's currently happening in the industry right now, right? So down the line, 5 years or 10 years from now, or even for the future, we really want to bring the best suite of products into the real estate spectrum, into this industry. And that consists of improving some AI features into the current real estate transaction side of the story, and building something which actually creates a very seamless process for any investors, for any buyers or sellers in conducting their transaction, which doesn't exist today. And when it comes to the B2B product, something like Rexdat, how can we bring the best transparent solutions or features to real estate agents to perform their transaction? How to perform the transaction in the best possible way? How can they communicate to their agents just live on the platform, right, which doesn't exist today? So there are a number of things that we really want to build, and which we are in the pipeline of building. And to answer your question, we really want to build the best transparent platform on the planet. Not only, I just said like in this country, but our goal is much bigger moving forward in coming years, but we really want to nail that. And also from the Rexdat side, there are a lot of there's a lot of fragmentation. There are a lot of issues that industry is currently going through, and there is definitely a need of a centralized data repository for real estate data, which doesn't exist. Rules and regulation can apply. State departments can come into the picture. A Department of Real Estate can argue, but end of the day, who are the customers, right? Who are you catering to? This is the only question that it always keeps in my mind. It always keeps keep coming in my mind. Like, end of the day, who are you catering to? You're catering to the customers, and you need to solve the problem for the customers, whether it's a B2C product or a B2B product, whether it's a consumer side of the story or real estate agents, brokers, association of realtors, or MLS side of the story. Ultimately, the customer is God, right? So, you need to cater the customer needs, and that's exactly the direction that we are in, whether it's B2C products or B2C products that we are working on. We want to bring the best to the customers.
Absolutely. And I think that goes in line with even, myself and my team as realtors, right? We're always trying to make sure that we're doing and treating our customers the way they want to be treated, right? Like the platinum rule, not even the way you want to be treated, but the way that they want to be treated, and trying to tailor our services to match their expectations and deliver on that. And so if you don't mind peeling back the onion a bit, right? When you talk about like the business model behind this, we know how the Zillows of the world and things of that nature kind of operate. But how does the business model operate for these companies? Is it more the consumer has more of a free platform versus like the B2B, or how does it work, the business model?
So consumer has a full free hand on Realoq. So for example, if, again, I don't want to bring the other competitors or other marketplaces into the picture, but like, any marketplace that you go to, you search for the property or a number of properties in that specific zip code, city or county, and you list a good number of properties, out of which you like one that you want to tour tomorrow or day after or over the weekend. And when you click on, let's say, contact agent or something like that, right? The current marketplace or current platforms doesn't give a buyer an opportunity to select which agent that they want to work with. So when you click on that call to action button, contact agent, immediately you're going to get a call from customer service. Hey, thank you for contacting. An agent will be with you soon. Like, where is the transparency out there? And we want to cut all those kind of barriers out there. And we are giving a power to consumer, the user, a buyer, to select whoever the agent that they want to work with. So it's open platform, and a buyer can shop the agents on the platform, and they can select an agent. They can, the immediately agent, the communication gets established between the buyer and the agent, and agent will get back in a given time, and they can start working from there. If the buyer doesn't like an agent, a buyer has a full transparency where a buyer can come out of that loop and also can pick another agent. So I have not seen that sort of a story on any current marketplaces.
That, what you just said, is huge. Yeah, you're right, because it's all like pay to play. So people are like, hey, okay, this person owns this zip code. So if you click it, it's going to go to this person regardless of if they're good or not. And so with that in mind, how do you, and I know this is still relatively early on, but have you thought through how to make sure that maybe one agent isn't getting overloaded to where the quality starts to drop off and things of that nature? How do you keep it like an even playing field?
So we have a mechanism to track how many leads that goes to one particular agent, right? And most of the times agent do work as teams, or brokerages do have teams, right? And we have not seen such an incident till date, to answer your question. I mean, we have not seen that kind of a problem yet. If there is a problem, that's a good problem to solve for us as a company, as a platform. And we will definitely address accordingly. But when it comes to tracking mechanism, we have a great tools in place. We build by ourselves. We don't really go out and just get the things from third-party vendors. And it's a pure technology product. So we call ourselves as a technology company in real estate domain. So Realoq is a technology company, and we build everything in-house. So we have a great mechanism tools to control those ups and downs for every agent.
Absolutely. And with Realoq and Rexdat, when you talk about just the vastness of how people list properties, right? It's listed on MLSs, listed on different platforms. How does it get shot out everywhere from yours? And are you able to source all the properties that are out there in the market to where if we're searching through the database, we can see and not miss out on properties?
So currently Realoq, as a corporation, Realoq is also a brokerage in 8 states. So we are also a broker member in 73 MLSs across 8 states. And we have tools in place that, where when MLS indicates the data, so we have channels and everything that we have created pipelines to streamline the data, and as you see in Realoq. But when it comes to Rexdat is the platform where we are encouraging agents and brokerages to come on board, explore the platform. So we have a listing management tool built into the Rexdat, and there are XYZ, so there are a lot of other products and tools which we are going to announce very, very soon in the month of January or February. That's going to get built into Rexdat. So Rexdat is going to become one platform, the platform where agents and brokers can come on board, explore the platform, input the listing, syndicate the listing, and manage the listing where they really want to syndicate, which you do not currently see anywhere at this point of time. There are some tools and mechanism built into some of MLS systems where they really want to syndicate, but it's completely manual. Hey, you know what? I don't want to syndicate my listing here. I don't want to syndicate my listing there. But as a platform, as a tool, there is just a click of a button or a swipe of the button. You can control your listing where you want to send your listing to. So there are a lot of other features. So there's a lot of integrations into social platforms within the Rexdat. That's going to be very, very important for agents because they're spending a lot of money outside of their regular cost that they bear on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, in marketing their properties, in socializing their properties. So even social platform features also built into Rexdat. On top of everything, we are also providing some creative tools for agents to populate their listing in a very creative way using some channels. So we are also building that in the back end, which we are going to announce in January or February. So there's lot of features and tools about to come into Rexdat in next 2 to 3 months. But as of today, Rexdat has a listing management input, and there's so much to come in very near future, and that's exactly the reason why I call Rexdat as the platform. So it is going to cater every agent and broker across the country, no barriers. And agents and brokers can control their data. Hey, I want to share my data with an agent in Georgia and Florida and Texas, which doesn't exist today because there are like 550 MLSs across the country, and each MLS organization is completely different and independent and they operate independent to each other. And if I want to see a listing from Georgia or Florida sitting in California, other than the public portals or public marketplace platforms, I cannot see anywhere. Hey, I want to see this property and I want to see agent internal comments, or what you call private remarks,
private notes,
private remarks and XYZ, right? And it's not possible today, and we want to solve. I mean, this is one of the problem, but there are a lot of problems that we put as in front of the table before ourselves in solving this problem, and looking at the sheet. Oh, dude, this n number of problem statements here to bring this Rexdat to the market. So it's going to be the platform very, very soon.
Yes. Vesh, the thing that you just said really rang home, because when I was on the other side, right, a lot of listeners know I've been in real estate for a little over 8 years, licensed for 3. And when I was just an investor, I just assumed, okay, yeah, all the MLSs is the same things that I'm seeing on some of these other consumer-facing products is exactly what the realtors are seeing. But now being on the other side, you're spot on. There's so many different MLSs. Even when my team is helping people in Georgia, we may be helping somebody buy in the Georgia mountains. You're not going to see the stuff on the FMLS, which is what we normally use. You're going to see half of it on GAMLS, and now there's something new called like the Northeast Georgia Mountains MLS, where it's got to pay $700 a person and all this stuff per year. And just to be able to see the background info of like, who's the agent? How do we put an offer on this? And it does get frustrating after a while. And so by the sounds of it, this platform would allow you to kind of skip through all of that and eliminate the noise and make it just one platform to see all the properties.
Exactly. And there was a counter argument, Niyi, some time back when we are working on problem statement before we initiated building Rexdat. Hey, what is the counter argument was like, I was talking to different MLSs in California and other states, and like they were like, what is the need for a buyer to have property listing showcased from different states? Like, hey, a buyer sitting in California, what is the need for any platform, or even for a buyer, what is the need to see listings in Florida, listings in Georgia, right? So it's completely other side of the country. Like, what is the need there? So I said, I answered to some of MLS members and folks who asked me this question, like, what about the investor? How do you cater real estate investors in the country, right? Yes, I'm sitting in California, but I'm a real estate investor. I want to invest in farmland in Georgia. I want to invest a beachside property in Florida, and I'm the investor. Where can I see the data? So you can still see the data in some of the marketplaces, but that is definitely not to the level where an investor really want to know the some data points before investing. Investor looks as you are in that direction as well, investor always looks very close into the property, like the data points and whatnot, everything. And as part of the Rexdat, our goal is to create a centralized listing platform along with private remarks for every agent. So an agent sitting in California can look into the private remarks put by or inserted by an agent in Georgia or Florida. Matter of fact, any state. That helps when an investor works with an agent. Agent can guide that investor. Hey, you know what? These are, this is a mountain side of the property. There's a water on the other side. Blah 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 blah. Which cannot be revealed everything in pictures, in the photos, right? The agent help is definitely needed there. And even for the investor to make a decision before the investment, a lot of data points are needed, and that's exactly where Rexdat is really focusing on, and that's exactly why we need a centralized listing platform across the country.
100% agree. And I can just speak for the Ekabo home team. We've helped plenty of investors out of California. Actually, two of the deals we have closing next week are investors that are sitting in California that we've been able to help out. and it would have been very
Awesome.
difficult to even be able to see like behind the screen. Like if I went to go invest in California, I would have to call and figure out, okay,
Yep.
who's a good agent, things of that nature, because there is that barrier to actually get to the information that you need to make it happen, which is incredible. So Anvesh, if nobody said it today, I truly appreciate you taking on this challenge and what you're doing and bringing your brain power to that. And no, I'm excited for Realoq as well as Rexdat and what it's going to look like in the future as it continues to grow.
Thank you. Thank you, Niyi. We're going to rock for sure.
Come on now. Now, I had a couple other questions, right? And we talked a little bit about it, but I wanted to get more into it. Can you tell me about the first presentation that you had to investors? I think there was something funny that happened there.
So I was pitching my deck to investors in the early days, early 2023. When I left my job, I was like, what the hell I just did, right? Following the passion is not an easy thing. It always comes with challenges. But I always believe in persistence and being resilient in achieving the things and in doing or performing the things. So I had that gut feeling like, okay, it's going to take time, but I'm going to create something big and something new. Initially, I invested by myself as I was making good amount of money when I was working for top tech companies. But then it was a time I had to start hitting investors for scaling the company, scaling the product, and everything. I was about to present, so I connected my dog to the system and everything, and all of a sudden, system got shut down. So it got shut down, and you see that reboot, it goes on buffering, and it took a lot of time for me to bring up that presentation deck. It was so embarrassing, dude. Like it was like my first pitch. I was virtually talking to other investors and over the phone, over the Zoom, but it was, I was physically there, and I was able to present, and I put up my system, and the internet, I don't know, I still cannot remember properly but about the internet, but I think it was just coming up, and I opened realoq.com, boom, nothing is coming up, nothing, zero. And there was no error, there was no 404 error, there was no error at all. I was like, what the hell is just happening here? Like, maybe it's my bad time or something like that. But, I think it was some internet because of something. And even there was some glitch in the product. I don't know what exactly happened at the time, but it was so funny, whether it's a, system boot issue or the product uptime issue or whatever it is, but it was the first presentation, right? Then I had a co-founder who, he was just like, boom, 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 he was doing something, I never got a chance to ask him like what the hell you were doing at that time. But anyway, we were able to bring up the product, and I was just making a joke like, this is so embarrassing, but any best product or any best platform on the planet can go down at any point of time. So it just time, and it's just, people were laughing at it, and they were so they were so encouraging, the folks in the room. I felt very happy about it though. But later that, I moved on, and as I said, the goal is very clear in my mind. I need to nail no matter what it takes. So I was not just feeling sad or sorrow for what has just happened or whatever it is, but I overcome that situation and just presented it, and we were successful at that point of time.
Come on now. And that's the key, right? You just keep pushing through. I think too many people want to, at the first sign of adversity, just go sit down somewhere, and that it's not going to get you anywhere. You literally have to look it in the face and keep moving forward, and you've definitely done that. And I can attest alongside you that, I spent 8 years in the medical device, or really, no, 7 years, 7.5 years in the medical device realm. And it was very nerve-wracking to make that move away. right? For the first month, you're like looking at your calendar like, hey, there's nothing here. Like, what am I doing, right? Like, should I go back? Things of that nature.
Yeah.
But once you start getting a couple months out, I'm sure you can attest to it as well, and you start to get your flow, and you start to see some progress, it's like, man, I should have done this earlier. Like there's actually something here. And so, no, Anvesh, I appreciate you joining and sharing some insight onto Realoq and Rexdat. These are platforms that I can at least attest that my team's going to be utilizing, and we look forward to seeing it continue to grow across the nation and start to take over.
Thank you, Niyi. Thank you for the invitation, though. This is a great conversation. Felt really happy about it. Thank you.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern as we explore different types of investments that can fast track your path to financial independence.